Let's talk about pattern and wind conditions. One fact about the wind is that it's always blowing. And that's okay, we can deal with it as long as it's not too strong. But another reality is this: it changes. It can change while you were on a plane on the way to the altitude. And you will have a surprise and face totally different conditions than you were expecting. You had a plan based on one conditions, and now this plan just doesn't look good. What do? Switch to plan B. Let me show you how to create more than one plan. Plan B, plan C, plan D, as much as you need, so you could prepare yourself for very different conditions using Spot Assist. Let's see. Current wind is across the drop zone, so our pattern would have to cross the runway. Not the best idea, so we adjust our landing direction. Pattern has better direction now, but we fly mostly over trees. I would prefer to fly closer to the open area. So we adjust our downwind to base turn altitude from 600 feet to 500 feet. This pattern looks optimal for current conditions. Let's see what happens if the wind changes. For this, we will use Spot Assist Simulator feature, which allows us to simulate wind direction and speed, and see how it affects the pattern. First, we will change the direction. Press and hold wind arrow for a second, then, without releasing, drag the arrow. We can see that pattern changed to fly closer to our final leg, since wind doesn't help us on the base anymore. Let's note that this is the pattern for 6 knots wind. What if wind speed is 12 knots? Let's put direction back and see the pattern for 12 knots wind. We can see that with a stronger wind we will have much wider pattern, to the point that we will be flying far over trees. But this is okay, wind will help us to come back. Actually, being afraid and flying too narrow pattern with a favoring wind is a very common mistake people do. They underestimate the wind push and arrive to the final too early. And then they have to bleed altitude with brakes or even S-turns, probably even facing the situation that there is not enough space to land. Spot Assist will show you wind correction, also called grabbing, and exact angles you have to apply to keep flying the pattern. Let's see what happens if the wind suddenly reverses the direction. We can see that the wind from the other side will make our pattern extremely narrow, since we will be fighting almost head-on wind flying the base. This is the situation when you want to stay over open field. Flying against strong wind can eat up entire base or even final leg. There are different scenarios, and they all can be simulated before you jump. For instance, this. Or this. Or this. As long as you know what to do in different winds, you will not be caught by surprise in mid-air. Play with Spot Assist. It's a tool which helps to understand canopy flying. Make plan B, plan C, and fly with confidence and safely. Blue skies!